So that must be the base on which we start.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
What do the rules speak about processing a bill?
Yes.
Okay? We have no power here to amend the rules here.
No.
It's only the full house which can suspend the rule.
Yes.
The rules of procedure say when the bill comes, the committee to which the bill is referred shall present the report.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, that's like no. Mr. Chairman, we are not saying that the Nssf should not be shifted to finance. No. Personally, I'm not saying that we cannot put Nssf under finance. I think the issue here is who is going to present the report. Whether the report is saying that Nssf, the minister responsible, or the minister of finance, that's a different issue altogether. We can resolve that. We can have that as part of the resolutions, the recommendations we have, and we say finance is not a minister of, Nssf is not a minister of finance. But the bill was referred to the committee of gender. As simple as that. Mr. Chairman, if somebody, one of the proposals I was talking about, excuse me, report. One of the proposals I was talking about report. I have never seen a report which recommended Uganda Investment Authority. It's not the minister of finance. It is not the law. The report is not the law. We changed the law. I'm giving you an example. And don't think that a cabinet where the president presides was wrong from the point of go by making the minister of general representative. So the issue is we can now make it clear and say Nssf now falls under Minister of Finance, but that will be by way of so no, it's not procedure. It's my procedure. I repeat my procedure. I'm only submitting that it's not the procedure. That the committee where the bill was referred, you present the report. That is the rules that we have.
Members, we are going to along the way, correspondence has started flying, which have led us to a kind of disagreement. Yes. Both parties are standing on their own. Yes. One against the other. Yes. We are now disunited. Yes. Let's go back to the drawing board. Right. It's better we are the judge, go back to the principal and she guides us. Yes. There's nothing we can do here that we shall not agree. Because the two people, the two chairpersons have delegations. And each delegation will submit to its chair. Please let us do it the judge, go back to the principal, they guide us, and then we proceed.
That's what we have been saying all along. We shall say them.
I have information.
And the children and women, they are not saying the roads.
I have information.
No, it's not possible.
But claiming now that they've got that data now, it's like they have to unless the bill is brought on the floor and but as far as
Mr. Chair, what is way forward. Mr. I request that you after this meeting, tomorrow, with a view of consulting the speaker, so by the time you come back, you have
I have information for what you have done.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
I have that information.
But Mr. Chairman, what should you know is that the two committees had moved on very well, and there was no contention. The other condition members have said is that the amendment, as far as I know, definitely we shall resolve at the floor of the house. Because the way I see, given the various issues, I've been in that for almost a quotation. So I know that this man will end up at the house. So why should we take up a budget which is so controversial, a lot of interest, and then what can we just resolve whatever we resolve and allow this matter go to the floor of the house and resolve here. So I request that you are involved and the two of you seek the guidance of the state. Then we come back and proceed in whatever way this matter is not done before the house.
Custody of Nssf. Okay, it's true. Nssf has got a social and economic dimension. That one is a fact, because it's workers, security, it's an insurance to their future, or at retirement, or at jobless time, retirement time. It's their insurance to maintain their income status. Now, where the dilemma comes, and which must be looked in seriously, is Nssf is a finance function. It involves asset liability management. Asset liability management involves a lot of financial modeling, a lot of investment portfolios, in order to ensure that you hedge against whatever losses will come. In order for this, you hedge against inflation. When you start putting your money today, inflation may crop in by the time you need the money. So there must be a good fund manager to invest correctly, to earn money which will grow to match with inflation, so that by the time you start accessing, you are at par with the time when you started saving. So I believe, and I correctly believe, this castled off this Nssf must be in Ministry of Finance, whereby those are the people to manage the financial modeling, and also they have to coordinate it with the general operation of the economy, because as they invest, you have to balance between liquidity and investment. So that Nssf fund supports government in a way in injecting money into managing the aggregate demand, you see, so which also leads to economic development. So it has to be controlled in relation to the general economic parameters. Yeah.
So what happens to what happens after? Because you're holding ropes between gender and finance. What happens after? When are you going to sit to amend this?
Now we have left our chairpersons to meet with the speaker, and they resolve on the matter. And also maybe they connect with the executive. The cabinet should also really decide. So that's why it is. For gender, manages social issues, not economic issues. Yeah. So this particular aspect is economic. That's why I ask you, who produces children in hospitals? Isn't it women? Who walks on roads? Isn't it men and women? That's a social thing. Now you are going to tell me that roads should be under castled off gender?
So what happens?
Hospitals, who goes to school? School children. There's a social issue there, but education must manage it. That's why schools are under education, not under gender.
So what have you made to do?
Go ahead to discuss the bill. But now when a letter from the executive comes in, trying to guide where the function should be, then you have to first get back and check how you are moving. So now our teachers have to get back to the executive and the cabinet and the speaker, and they resolve that, because we can't resolve as a mob.
Okay. Gender committee. You see, this ministry is called the Gender, Labor and Social Development. Now, the ministry which is for labor should be in charge of the affairs of those that are providing labor. Now, you tell me that finance should be in charge. How? They want to tell us that these other ministries don't have the finance component. There are several components in works, in labor, in ICT, all those other components. This is just saying that the sector of Nssf should be in gender. They are technocrats. Who told you that all the finance experts are only working in the Ministry of Finance? They are technical people in gender and labor who can manage this after it has been managing it for long. So what are they dying for so much, so that they wish to take it to finance? So this total confusion was brought by the president when he wrote a letter, which letter was uncalled for. Now the letter has caused the confusion, because why didn't he first call his ministers to discuss with them? They call the speaker to agree instead of writing a letter. So this is the confusion that we are having.
15 years ago, and they said that the Ministry of Gender was mismanaging, or labor was mismanaging. At that time we didn't have WUBRA. So we didn't have any entity which was trying to supervise finance. But now we have WUBRA. So we have WUBRA which is supervising. So and they say you cannot again bring Minister of Finance to be the YA minister. You have to put another minister, so that there is a balance. There is economic, has someone supervising economic issues and someone supervising social security issues. But now what the finance are trying to do, they are pushing the president to say we can only recognize these economic issues, and therefore that means that you are trying to kill off the social security issues, and yet Nssf, the primary and core mandate is social security. So there is no you will try to push it under economic aspects only without looking at the economic, the social. And the other argument was that you allow the two ministries work together. But finance saying they want to be alone. That means that they have an agenda. Because what agenda do they have? If they don't have any social security mandate, and they are trying to hijack something of social security interest, what are they? For us, we are not saying that we should do it alone. We are saying we do it together. But for them, they are saying they want it alone. Why? Why don't they want to share the hybrid aspect where we have the two ministries, finance working together. Why is finance? Labour is not saying they want it alone. Labour is saying we work together.
No, they are not in combination. This is government.
No, they are not.
We need a role.
We need it in the
We need like other institutions. They are mentioned. They define the minister. They will say the minister. Then they define the minister.
That one here, where
Section 18. Section 14.
Now, what we need is make it clear that in the bill, we state
Who is the minister? Simple.
Have you read? Do you have the bill and see what they are trying to do?
What have they said?
Let me show
They
you.
want it in agenda.
No. The bill says the minister.
This is the bill now. But why did they give a name to agenda?
That's I'm wondering. The section you are trying the principal to say. The principal says the Minister of Finance.
That's it?
Yes.
We have that bill there. The bill we are talking about.
About the bill or the act?
The bill now. The bill you have
The act is silent.
No, the active we are still quoting the old act.
Yes, I'm talking about it.
you bring the bill and I show you what they are
So
saying.
if you are talking about the bill, this is the Minister of Finance. Just go ahead and adopt that.
Then it must be
The presentation is not the issue. Not the presentation. The report will state who is the minister.
Let me show you what.
This is the bill. No, the proposed. This is the proposed.
In subsection 1, which is the principal, substitute for the word minister, the word minister responsible for finance.
Yes,
Now putting it in the finance.
The proposal.
Auntie, this is the bill.
And then wait, the second one is subsection 2. By substituting the word minister, in the word minister for consultation of the minister, which minister?
Now, there
There's a contradiction.
There is a contradiction, that's what I'm saying.
There's no contradiction.
The minister, you read in subsection 2.
Listen, there's a contradiction. Let me tell you. The minister now, according to the act, the minister according to the act is the minister of health. But now they are saying in this particular,
Let's read the interpretation.
this is not the one we got the bill to the act, not the
We first want to see what's in the bill.
What
What we want to see first.
What is the minister?
The
What
act
is
is
the
here. The act is also here.
But the interpretation of
The act has
this
already
bill.
defined.
Read the interpretation and read the bill.
In the new law they did it, that matter never came up.
He's right.
That matter
It's
never
already defined in the act.
He's right.
Because we are not repeating, then we are amending.
It's already in the act.
Yes, it's the old one.
Anything we are not repeating.
Yes.
It remains the same.
So,
So
The minister here is gender now.
No.
This is gender.
The minister, in subsection 2, by substituting the word minister, the word minister responsible for finance and consultation with the minister.
now,
Now, what's the
Greatest confusion.
What's the saying? In subsection 1 is wait. In subsection 1 is see. By substituting for the word minister in the word minister. Yes, I'm reading for you. That in substituting. In subsection we want to amend the principal act. We are saying in section 1C, which is in the main act, by substituting the word minister, the word minister responsible for finance.
They are both there.
That's where there is a confusion.
There is confusion.
There is a confusion here.
And B are not talking the same
I am
thing.
not taking the same thing.
Because
If we are amending
if the act had again as a minister, but the A here is replacing it with finance.
With finance.
first of all, I was on this.
That's the law. This is the bill. There is a contradiction.
Yes.
If you say that you are amending the Principal Act and you define the minister here interpretation could have been also defined in the interpretation of the bill, which is not there. It's not there. The interpretation law, once you put a word, it must be interpreted in the interpretation clause. You get it as the employer is included You see what it means? It means
The domain.
but the word minister is not mentioned anyway. But in section A they are saying the word minister.
Now, for instance,
What role will it
and this
play?
is another task where
And
they are all
in the
complaining.
subsection, the word
if we go by the
minister, the word minister is responsible for finance.
which finance does not want. It is finance
When
that
Genda appoints the board, what more does Genda?
Why do you have this confusion between gender and the finance?
The problem is one, the minister cabinet erred because parliament has ever pronounced itself on the same matter. You remember the Bijanga report which censored Bakoko Bakolo, which censored Suruma. Parliament has been doing it, has been so cabinet bringing a bill through gender. It was a mistake.
So for you think it was really finance?
It would have been finance.
So what have you done?
And even now where finance is, finance is housed in finance. Nssf reports in finance. It doesn't report in gender.
So your contention here, you want this bill to pass through finance?
It passed through finance because it's the responsible ministry dealing with investments of Nssf money. You get it? So cabinet erred for the Minister of Gender to present that bill. So the only alternative is government to withdraw a bill and it goes to a substantive ministry. You get what I'm saying?
Then what about the letter from President Museveni?
Yeah, that's why the president is trying to clarify the matter. The president is clarifying the matter that it was an error. You get what I'm saying? The letter is clarifying. Take a WhatsApp and see. The president is the Minister of Finance. Is clarifying the matter. You get it? Is clarifying the matter because the person responsible for the Minister of Finance. You remember Bakoko Bakolo was censored because they put a gender report. This matter was brought on the floor of Parliament and censored the minister.
So what does the other one say? It puts gender? The other...
No, you see, they are not reading it. If you are amending the subject,